From Storm Tracker 6, this is your Forecast First. Sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance, the no problem people.
Well, some good news as far as the area rivers are concerned, but they are obviously still high. Let's take a look specifically at the Grand River in Lansing because that's the one still giving us the most trouble. 14.49 feet, that's where we are right now. It was at 14.63 feet around noontime, so it has come down. It'll continue to fall back into the minor category as we move into Sunday morning, so good news there. There's the view on the Grand out of Grand Ledge by the dam at Fitzgerald Park. I was taking this video earlier today and kind of hard to make out the dam. You can see where the water's kind of changing pace there, but it's really high as certainly I have ever seen it there. For tonight, I think the good news is no rain in the forecast for tonight. But, Sherry and Lauren, we have got more rain in the forecast. We'll let you know when, because some of it could be heavy. We'll look at that in weather in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, David. Now the water may be receding, but the capital area still has a ways to go before we dry out.
Homes and businesses are still flooded by rivers and streams that have swelled well beyond their banks. Our 6 News team is here for you tonight with a first-hand look at how mid-Michigan is coping, and Jorma Duran joins us now live from Okemos.
Flooding there has closed a major intersection. So what's the latest near you, Jorma?
Well, the latest is still a watery mess. This has been quite the scene here at the intersection of Grand River and Okemos. It's been a major issue because people have been ignoring the road closure signs, and it's been a problem for not only police, but for businesses and motorists as well.
Whether through high flood water or along the sidewalk, motorists were using the intersection of Grand River and Okemos the wrong way all day, and it's frustrating authorities.
Right now, our biggest concern really is safety of motorists. People are ignoring the barricades that say the roads are closed, and they're driving through as you can see, the deep water that's around here.
Many cars got stuck, like this one that had to be towed away. Those who were forced from their vehicles to get through say it's been a freaky Friday.
I had to park my car here and hop out and walk a block just so I can go to my appointment so I wouldn't be late.
As for businesses along this watery mess, they're open, just not very active.
You can't foresee something like this. The best you can do is just try to hang in there and, work with the staff that you can work with.
But as you can see, floodwaters are most everywhere in Meridian Township, closing off many roads and causing some homeowners to leave their property for safety. And because all this water has yet to recede, authorities say there's no real guess to how bad the damage is, especially since they're still receiving reports of flooded properties.
It's a waiting game. When the water goes down, then we can start really getting a feel for what's happened, what kind of damage we're looking at, and then get people back in their homes and hopefully businesses back up and running at full capacity.
Meridian Township officials tell me this intersection here at Grand River and Okemos will probably stay closed for the rest of the weekend. Let's continue our team coverage with Madeline Odell. She's live with us now in Lansing on an update on how businesses and business owners are handling those floods. Madeline?
Jorma, I want you to check this out behind me. This is the intersection of Kalamazoo and Clippert Streets. As you can see, the water is so high here, there are dumpsters floating, and stores have water nearly reaching window height. Today, I caught up with a couple of business owners in this area to see what comes next for them. Alan Hempfling, owner of A&J Transmission here in Lansing, considers himself one of the lucky ones out of the dozen or so businesses who were affected by flooding here on Kalamazoo and Clippert Streets.
The guys told us that it hit its top at 14-some feet, which gave us just probably about 5 or 6 inches of grace before it went into the building.
Unfortunately, there were others nearby hit much harder. That includes the owner of Bacon Cakes, Wilford Johnson, who says he hasn't seen anything like this in more than 3 decades of owning the store.
We've never had this happen before, and our concern is our customers. They're loyal customers for years with us because we've been in business for 34 years. And that kind of upset my son and myself is our poor customers.
Those who managed to make it out on the other side okay say their focus is now on those who need the help the most.
We feel very fortunate to be able to not have to go into a long-term delay of work. So, my thoughts are really more with the other people that have, much bigger problem to deal with than we ended up with.
And those who are still struggling to get back up and running have a message too.
It's uncontrollable. We have no control over it. So as soon as we get up and running, we will let them know.
Johnson says the next step for many of these businesses that have water in them is obviously to wait for the flooding to go down. Then they'll need to go through steps with the proper state and local agencies to make sure they are in compliance, and then they can open back up. Here for you in Lansing, Madeline Odell, 6 News.
Thank you for that, Madeline. Well, the flooding has also forced many people from their homes and into temporary shelters.
Our Alicia Bergio spoke with Lansing officials today to find out how you can volunteer. Alicia, what'd you learn?
Sherry, Lauren, officials with Lansing tell me the need for volunteers is at an all-time high. In fact, the city just put in a call for volunteers to help tomorrow. Groups will be doing some surveying of homes to assess the damage, and once the water subsides, officials will also be doing some cleanup. Tomorrow's volunteer effort will be happening from 10 until noon. Groups will meet at the Allen Neighborhood Center. But in order to participate, you'll need to sign up beforehand so city officials can do a background check. You can head on over to lansingmi.gov/news. There you'll find a link for signupgenius.com where you can sign up.
I work in neighborhoods and citizen engagement, so I see our citizens helping each other all the time. Yes, it is increased during an emergency, but we have connected neighborhoods in the city of Lansing. We have people that truly care for each other, certainly know each other, and in good times celebrate together, and in times like this really come out and help each other out.
Now, the city doesn't only need volunteers to physically come out and help, they also need donations, including clothing, furniture, and small appliances. People can donate those items to any of the Goodwill locations in Lansing. And if you'd like to make a financial donation, you can give that to the American Red Cross. Lauren, Sherry?
All right, thanks, Alicia. We'll stay with 6 News. We will continue to monitor the flooding in mid-Michigan and bring you the latest updates and any important information that you need.
A new story from Yahoo News looks into a sports agency that is under federal investigation. One of the people accused of taking money is the mother of MSU basketball star Miles Bridges. She's accused of accepting a $400 payment, which, if true, would violate NCAA rules. Players are not allowed to accept any compensation since that would undermine their amateur status, and that rule also applies to their families. To be very clear, Miles Bridges himself is not accused of taking any money. MSU head basketball coach Tom Izzo has released a statement in response to the allegations. Our Fred Heumann will have that coming up later in sports.
This is Weather First from Storm Tracker 6. Brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people.
Well, of course, flooding is still the big weather story for the next several days, despite not a lot of rain in the forecast. Temperatures are mild, sitting in the 40s. Latest river levels across the area. The red dots and the purple dots are the two that we have to look out for. And you see across mid-Michigan, it's only the Grand and Lansing that still has the red dot. Just north of Grand Rapids, that purple dot, that is some significant flooding taking place. In fact, here is a look at some drone video. This is from meteorologist Kyle Underwood at Wood Television in the Comstock Park area. And boy, it is. This is going to be near all-time record crest for the Grand in the Grand Rapids area, and you can see the damage it is doing. Lots of homes inundated with water in that area. Our social tracker. Taking a look at from Beth, the shot of the Kalamazoo River also very high, but as I said, at least in central mid-Michigan, the Red Cedar, the Looking Glass, and the Grand, for that matter, all beginning to fall substantially, and the Grand will get back in much better shape, it looks like, as you saw at the top of the show, by Saturday night and into Sunday. But for now, though, it's still over the banks, kind of hitting up against the Lansing Center there. Current temperature sits at 41 degrees, a tenth of an inch of rain out there last night. We didn't want to see any rain, but certainly wasn't all that heavy, thankfully. As we look at the Grand Ledge Tower cam, less than a tenth of an inch of rain, temperature at 40 degrees, and the Jackson cam, cloudy skies, 43 the temperature, and 807 inch of rainfall out there early this morning. Satellite and radar, some clouds outside, but no rain to deal with for this evening. But as we look at precision cast, those showers start to creep a little further north by early tomorrow morning. So we'll start out the day, and really the bulk of the daylight hours on Saturday look dry. By Saturday night, this area of rain begins to move in. It's just quick moving. There's a little burst of heavier rain embedded in that, but it's not widespread. And I imagine many areas will make it out well under a quarter of an inch of rainfall, so it won't really add to the flooding situation. So again, overall good news. Rain, snow line pretty far to the north as we are mild Saturday and into Sunday as well. It'll be breezy on Sunday behind the storm system. And then you notice to our south, to our west, we've got a lot of area that's seeing clear skies. So we're going to have several days of dry out time for Monday and likely into Tuesday as well before rain returns Wednesday, and some models indicate by Wednesday and or Thursday potentially some heavier rain returns then. Temperatures in the lower 40s this afternoon, so it's certainly not all that chilly outside, and our overnight lows tonight not going to be cold either, down to 31 degrees. That's way above normal for this time of the year. Tomorrow's forecast, we climb into the mid-40s through the afternoon hours, and the showers, they hold off until late tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. The 6-day forecast, 47 on Sunday, some early morning rain showers, and they're out of here. Mid-40s on Monday, 50s Tuesday and Wednesday. That system Wednesday into Thursday we've got to watch out for. So we see the mid-40s on the way, so it's all rainfall. Cooling off a little bit, mid-40s Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Maybe a couple snowflakes Monday and Tuesday. Wouldn't that be a novel idea in winter? Seeing some snowflakes for a change. Here's a check of your traffic tracker this afternoon. No accidents to track, but plenty of closed roads all across mid-Michigan. And as we zoom out, look at all the little symbols popping up there. Tons of roads are closed because of all of the flooding. And as Jorma talked about, if you approach one of those roads that's covered with water, don't take a chance stalling out and or it could be washed out. Just turn around and find an alternate route.
That's right, and that's why those barricades are up.
They're up there for a reason.
Closed.
I can't believe how many people are trying to get through.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, David.
Well, the calls for Jackson County Sheriff Steve Rand to be removed from office grow louder. We'll take a look at what needs to be done if people want to make that happen. Next, stay with us.
A whirlwind controversy has surrounded the Jackson County Sheriff since he found himself the focus of a discrimination scandal.
A lot has happened over the past 2 weeks, and our Jackson Bureau reporter Aaron Dimmick is here for you tonight in our Jackson newsroom with a look at what's happening next.
Sheriff Steve Rand is refusing to resign. There are options to remove him, but they come with challenges. Sheriff Steve Rand is sticking to his guns.
I'm going to make an effort to make things right, and for me that means staying in the office, doing what I set out to do.
A discrimination lawsuit and audio recordings of him making derogatory comments are putting Rand in the center of public scrutiny. Local government and community organizations are responding, calling on him to resign. Because Rand was elected, only a resignation, recall, or intervention from the governor can remove him.
We can forgive you, but you cannot continue in the position with feelings and sentiments like that.
When the county board approved a resolution calling on Rand's resignation, they also indicated officials would ask Governor Snyder to remove the sheriff. The governor's office says so far they haven't received anything from Jackson County about this situation, but it's not a simple process. After getting a removal request, the governor asked the Attorney General to investigate. The AG's office determines if the official broke the law, then recommends whether or not the governor should proceed with removing them. If the governor wants to proceed, a public hearing happens, and then the governor makes a final decision. In his 8 years in office, Snyder has never taken up a request to remove an elected official. When it comes to a recall, Jackson County says no one has formally started a recall effort against the sheriff. The signatures of more than 13,000 county residents have to be collected for the recall to go before voters. We're staying on top of this developing story, so stay with us for updates. Here for you in the Jackson Newsroom, Aaron Dimmick, 6 News.
Thanks, Aaron. Well, Fred's up next with sports, and he has a high school basketball preview tonight.
And, of course, more on the story that we told you about earlier tonight, the FBI investigation involving Miles Bridges' mom. Fred's up next. Stay with us.
This is 6 Sports.
Hi, just what Tom Izzo and the MSU basketball program didn't need to wake up to today. More news of an investigation, this one surrounding the program, but really not solely on MSU. A report by Yahoo Sports says several major basketball powers are being investigated for illegal funds received by some players and by family members of prominent players. Among the names listed in that report, MSU sophomore Miles Bridges. Tom Izzo released a statement today in the aftermath of this report. He said he's aware of it, and while MSU will cooperate with any and all investigations, they have no reason to believe that he or any member of the staff or student athlete did anything in violation of NCAA rules. Athletic Director Bill Beekman also released a statement. It read in part that MSU has proactively contacted the NCAA and the Big Ten Conference about this matter and reiterated what Coach Izzo said: there is no evidence anyone in the program did anything impermissible. As for the other matter on Izzo's plate, oh yeah, by the way, trying to win an outright championship with a victory Sunday at Wisconsin, Well, this one clearly could lead a lot of Izzo and the players who's in the news today. Miles Bridges.
I think of Miles and things we talked about last spring. I think of all the players and what we talked about all summer and fall, and to see it come to reality is pretty special. So happy, but got a lot of work yet to do.
All right, that game Sunday against Wisconsin is right here live on TV6. Big doings in high school basketball tonight. We'll have a fifth quarter at 11:15. The big game is at Okemos, where the CAAC Blue Championship will be decided. East Lansing and Okemos for all the teas. Suspended East Lansing coach Steve Finnemore told me moments ago he's decided not to attend the game tonight. He'll listen on radio. So why has Finnemore been so upbeat amidst this personal turmoil?
It's not life or death. It's basketball, it's youth sports, it's coaching. You know, there are more things out there. You know, you see guys like Dan Dockich and Tom Crane and Fran Fraschilla who get away from coaching and they go into broadcasting. And by the way, if you ever have an opening, I wouldn't mind applying for the job and auditioning.
How about the fifth quarter tomorrow night? He'll not appear tonight, but stay tuned. On the opposite bench, Jeff Wanch and his Okemos team looking to sweep East Lansing in the season series and lock up the program's first CAAC Blue Championship since 2011. Okemos did beat East Lansing 5 weeks ago tonight, but the stakes on this night are more defined. Win and take home the CAAC Blue Trophy.
This time of year is a lot of fun, and you know, these guys talked about playing in games like this all the way back in June, and a lot of them have been playing this game in their driveway, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
You beat them the first time. At this point, is that the good news or the bad news?
Yeah, well, anytime you can get a win, it's good news. But you know, if you're going to win a CAAC Blue Championship, then you're going to go through East Lansing, and that's our task, that's our goal.
All right, that last meeting was a doozy in East Lansing's gym. January 19th, EL playing without star senior Brandon Johns. But Okemos used some lockdown defense on this high-powered team, and the Chieftains made the most of their chances to deal the Trojans their second home loss in a 10-day span back in January. East Lansing has not lost since that game, and the Trojans plan on keeping their winning ways going as they seek a third straight blue title.
Last couple of years, that game it's always meant something, but it hasn't meant that much. This year, it's for everything, so it'll be a good game Friday.
What would it mean to win the CAAC Blue?
It will send the seniors out on a great note. That's all we've been talking about. Let's send the seniors out on a great note. They got us here, so just like Graham Les, we got to bounce back and try to get them there.
All the highlights on the fifth quarter tonight. Michigan State hockey on the road this evening as the Spartans close out the regular season this weekend with a pair of games against number 5 Notre Dame. This is the Spartans' first trip to South Bend since December of 2012, and it'll be no picnic playing this Irish team that is top-ranked or near the top and coming off a weekend where they were swept by Michigan last week. But in Denton Cole's world, every weekend is a challenge.
There's no rest here in the Big Ten. You know, every weekend, you know, you face a pretty good team, and it seems like everybody we've been facing lately too has been coming off kind of a bad weekend in their ornery. But that's good. It'll get us ready, and it's another challenge, and we want to see, you know, how we stack up against Notre Dame versus how we did earlier in the year.
All right, the Tigers added a player today, signing left-hand pitcher Francisco Liriano. He's a veteran. Tigers did lose their exhibition opener to the Yankees 3-1. I'm afraid they're not going to win a game all year. I'm just kidding. See you at 11:15.
We're going to be more optimistic than that, Fred.
Keep it here. David's back after the break. He's got a final look at your weekend forecast.
Well, the damage from this flooding is unprecedented.
It is. I was just checking the latest observations from the river. It was 14.49 at the top of the show. It's 14.40 now. Okay. So it's still continuing to come down. 44 for tomorrow. Showers move in tomorrow night. Nothing heavy. 40s on Sunday. And then next week, Wednesday, Thursday, that is a system to watch. Could see some heavier rain possible on Thursday. High temperatures then in the mid-40s. Overnight lows in the 30s. But between now and then, I think the rivers are back in their banks, so that shouldn't be too bad for us. It's not like this past system.
But then there's a lot of cleanup to do after the waters recede.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you joining us tonight at 6.
Have a great weekend.